Hey everybody, we're going to start off our ramp, which most of you know is range of motion, activation, movement preparation. We're going to start off our number 5 ramp with breathing, as we always do. We're going to try to incorporate a balloon. Some of you might not use the balloon at first until you get used to the breathing pattern, then we're going to put this in here. Once again, it's really important to start off with breathing to not only kind of de-stress a little bit and to also kind of reset a lot of the internal tension between fascia and organs and glands, and help create more range of motion just by breathing before we go into our rolling and our activation. So here's what we're going to do. So I'm going to demonstrate, like I said, with and without the balloon. Hopefully you guys can see me in this picture here. So I'm going to lie down on my back. I want my knees bent about 90 degrees. And then from this position here, I'm not going to push my feet into the wall. I want to push more of my heels down, okay? So with my right hand over my head, I can put my hand on the belly just to feel. When I inhale, once again, the belly should rise first, okay? Then the chest and the neck. So we want to make sure that when we breathe in, the belly expands first. Slow breaths. So what we do now is I'm going to push the heels down towards the floor. And when I inhale, I want to do a pelvic tilt. So my tailbone comes off the ground just a little bit. I don't want to be too high, just the tailbone comes off as I inhale. So I'm going to inhale slow, heels are down, and then exhale. Again, belly first, exhale slow. After about 4 breaths, then we can rest. With the balloon, it's a little more complicated. So now the right hand's going to be here. I'm going to have the balloon here. I'm going to inhale, pelvic tilt, tailbone comes off the ground. As I exhale, the balloon is going to get bigger. I'm going to pinch the balloon with my tongue against the roof of my mouth. I'll inhale again, then exhale. And I don't want any air to escape when I do this. After 4 breaths, we come down and repeat. So you should look like this. And then let go of the air, and my pelvis goes back down. Now, when I did that, I didn't blow in too much to the last breath because I didn't know if it was going to break. But it's going to be pretty challenging at first when you do this to make sure that you, once again, you breathe in through the belly, then the chest, then exhale. So you should have some kind of wave breathing going there. So once you get that 4 breaths in and out, let the air out of the balloon, hips come down, or just tailbone come down, and you repeat that 4 times. So that is our PRI, Postural Restoration Institute, 90-90 hip lift with balloon. Perfect, magic. Okay, so once again, guys, we can work on our glutes, okay? Start with putting your ankle just above your knee. And maybe about a good at least 10 forward and back rolls on each glute, okay? I like to kind of get centered, and I also like to turn onto the hip. And even before you do that, you can just do a little bit of just tailbone to sacrum, just back and forth, just your sit bone back and forth. Once you do that, then come into your glutes. Turn onto the hip. If you find any trigger points or things that are sensitive, stop, breathe, try to let those painful point dissipate, and then continue to go, okay? So once again, maybe about at least 10 times forward and back. You can do more. You're going to find that over time you might have one side that's worse than the other, or maybe you did a hard training session and it's a little bit more sore. So feel free to spend more time on one side if you need to, okay? That's the first one. The second one, we start working on the hamstrings, which is going to be the bilateral, meaning we work at the same time. So we just go from the back of the knee to the sit bones. Nice and easy. We can do toes in, toes out, get different parts of the hamstrings. We also can do one leg on top. Now it's deeper. Now when we do this, we're getting a deeper penetration into the tissue, which is something that we do want to do, okay? Some people might not be able to tolerate that at first, but usually pretty quickly, after about a week and a half of this, people can start going deeper. So you want to isolate each leg when you do it. Same thing for the calves, okay? You start just above the ankles on the Achilles tendon and just roll back and forth, okay? Just to the back of the knee, the top of the calves, back and forth. Then same thing, we can come and start working the calves now, single. If you lift your butt off the ground with your hands, you're going to sink in deeper and you have the weight of the top leg pushing in as well to the outside. And also ankle range of motion. We stay on the Achilles tendon and we just do some circles, maybe 5 circles to the left, 5 circles to the right, okay? From here, we're going to now go a bit to the front of the body, all right? So we're going to start off with the quadriceps. I'm going to turn sideways. You can start with the rollers just above the kneecap, and then you're stabilizing with your core and just using your arms, pushing your elbows into the ground, your forearms to kind of pull you forward and back. Make sure your low back doesn't arch too much like this and you're doing it like that. That's not good for your low back. So keep your abs on a little bit so we're neutral when we do this. Toes in, toes out. We can roll sideways when we do this as well. Single leg as well. A little bit more pressure when we do this. We can do flexion and extension as we roll. That's a bit tough as well. We can go to the inside and outside on singles. Once we do that, we want to do the groin. So, lie down. Turn this towards the midline of your body, this meaning the midline. And then we'll come down and put the roller just on the inside of the knee. We're going to close the hips and we roll in and out as we do this. Find different positions. You can maneuver it around a little bit. Find different angles that work for you. Get all the way up inside high. That's for the groin. Next one we're going to work on will be shins. Use your arms to support yourself, just to roll yourself, forward and back. Your toes will be off the ground. Sitting down on your heels is a little easier than trying to stay up like this. That's going to require more activation of your core. Not a bad thing, but to keep it simple, if you're new to this, keep your butt towards your heels. Okay? One more addition that we're going to add to this is going to be a bit of the IT band. Okay? This is very sensitive for anybody. So when you do this, if I'm on my right side, my left leg is forward. If I'm pushing through my left foot, that's going to dictate how much I sink into the foam roller. So from here, I'm just going to go back and forth. My hands as well are also dictating how much I will sink into the foam roller. It's a very sensitive area. It's on the outer part. This is where the stripe is on my pants. That's where your IT band is. Be very gentle when you start doing this at first. Good. Now we're going to do a little upper body. We're going to work on the lats. So you can get on your side. Make sure the roller is in the middle of your torso. You don't want it too low on the ribs. That's going to be uncomfortable. So the hand is going to be outstretched. You can use the bottom edge of your left foot if you're on your left side, and the sole and the foot on the right foot to kind of dig in to push you back and forth. Get up into that armpit area. Use, once again, your hand, and how much you push into the ground dictates how much I'm really pushing into that foam roller. I can roll back and stop when I'm on the armpit and come forward and back a little bit. It's okay to roll at different angles. I'm a little bit more laid back. Now I'm going to be a little bit more laid forward. They're all good. Just be careful how much you compress your ribs. Another one we can do is going to be for the back of the shoulder, okay? Sideline. Take the roller, turn it towards, once again, towards the middle. And then from here, you can just roll back and forth into the back of the shoulder area, the shoulder blade. It's not going to feel good for most people when you do this, but once again, be right at that edge where if it's not enough, it's not doing enough. If it's too painful, it's also counterproductive. Then also you can work some internal and external rotation, just like this. Breathing, you can do circles, external rotation to internal rotation, and vice versa, internal to external rotation. Take your time with this one, but this is very important to do as well. You also can get some triceps if you want as well, where now you're rolling. You can flex and extend the elbow as you do it. You can go to different parts of the tricep or the inner part. You can just stay in one position and just flex and extend and then move it along. Or you can actually do rolling. There are different techniques, so you want to utilize both techniques when you do that. So that takes care of our foam rolling. Hey everybody, it's time for our ramp number 5. I know you guys have been waiting a while for this, so here we go. We'll get right into it. So we're going to continue to do a breathing exercise, followed by our foam rolling to get the tissues ready, followed by a bretzel, and then all the new stuff. So there's still some similar exercises. They're not all new, but a good, 85-90% are new. So real quickly, I'm going to the bretzel, the 2.0 first. That's going to be for the posterior chain, okay? So for that one, you're going to sit down. You're going to get into that 90-90 hip position, okay? 90-degree angle between the shin and the thigh, between the thighs and the inner thigh, and the thigh and the front shin. So what we're going to do here is we're going to first turn to our right if the right leg is in front. Just try to square up and get used to that stretch. From here, we're going to take our left hand and put it just like so, back of the hand to the ground, and we're going to shift to the left side. Hold it. Come back up if you need to. Make sure you breathe through the belly. That will help kind of loosen things up. And you get to the point, and now you're going to start to straighten this bottom leg out. Okay? So, I'm leaning, and I start to straighten this bottom leg. Chest up, and I keep leaning. Try to stay square. I don't want to turn too much towards my left. I want to stay kind of square. And as you keep doing this, you can keep straightening the leg, pull those toes up more and more. And you'll see, the more you straighten the knee out, the harder it's going to get to maintain good posture. I'm adjusting. Come back up, straighten a little more. And make sure you're able to breathe while you do this. That's very important that you can maintain a good breath. If I go to a point like where I am now where it's almost too hard to breathe normally, I need to back out a little bit. Take a few breaths, inhale, exhales. And then I can start to go and I still can breathe normal. So really important to let your breath be the guide for this, okay? So that's number 1. Number 2, the hip flexor and TFL stretch. I'm going to use the mat for the knee. So from this position here, the toes are up on the back foot. I want my ribs down, my belly button drawn in, keeping my glute on the down knee, which is my right side. I want to keep that tight, okay? Which is going to help stretch a bit of the quad and the hip flexor. Keeping those ribs down. From here, to get the TFL, all I'm going to do is bump my hips to the right. Arms are up, chin is down, and I'm reaching to the sky. I'm reaching up. I'm keeping my ribs down. I'm keeping my right glute tight, and I'm breathing. So once again, notice the hips bump laterally first, keeping the ribs down, reaching up, chin stays tucked, but the top of the head is going to the sky. Deep breath. And hold that for 30 seconds per side. That's number 2. Next one is the marching hip bridge. All right. So for the marching hip bridge, I'm going to lie down. legs about 90 degrees, my feet are relatively close together. I can have palms up, I can make it a little harder like this. I bridge up, and from here, I bring my thigh to 90 and then back down, maintaining the hips up, keeping the ribs down, and you alternate 8 per side, just like so. That's the marching hip bridge. Now we're going to go on to the quadruped extension rotation. So, we're in all 4 position here. The wrists are underneath the armpits, the knees and the hips joints are in line. I put my left fingers behind my ear. I'm going to bring my left elbow and my right knee together. I tuck, and then I'm going to extend and rotate. I tuck, extend and rotate. Inhale, exhale. I'm really trying to keep my right knee straight, pushing my heel away from my body as I rotate through. 8 per side. That's the marching hip bridge. Sorry, excuse me, the quadruped hydrate. Next one is bent over, reach to sky. Pretty simple setup. Feet about hip width or a little bit less. Bend the knees, hinge, so the spine stays flat. I touch my pinkies together, and I'm pushing my hands to the ground. My left hand's going to push to the ground as I rotate my right, and my head turns towards 12 o'clock. I'm pushing my right arm down. I come back down. From the side angle, same thing, hinge. I'm pushing down. I rotate. That is our bent over, reach to sky, 8 repetitions each. Squat with rotation. Another variation we've done before. Take an angle, you stand up nice and tall. You can bend over and touch your toes or bend your knees slightly if you want to. Get a little shift to the right, stretch the right side, shift to the left, bend the left leg, the right leg is pretty straight. And then we pull ourselves into that squat, chest up, shoulder blades back, thumbs up. And what we're going to do now is we're going to rotate around. Rotate around, open up the thoracic spine, the chest, keep the knees wide, heels flat. Then bring them both up. And we'll repeat that again. I'll face forward. Once again, only go as far down as you can when you have good mechanics. If you go too low and your spine starts to round or your knees collapse, that's not really going to help us mobilize what needs to be, opened up a bit. So once again, from here, bend over, touch the toes. We can shift. One side kind of hang, shift the other side to hang. Spread the knees, chest out, shoulder blades together as we pull down. Rotate around, eyes watch, keeping them apart. Both arms up, get those lower traps, arms straight, get it behind you, and everything comes up together. You want to be careful that the butt doesn't come up first. And that is our squat with rotation. Scapular push-ups. Scapular push-ups can be a little challenging at first until you get the hang of it. I recommend starting off on the knees first until you get this. So once again, I want my wrists underneath my armpits, my hips are forward. The elbows stay locked. I'm going to drop my sternum down to the floor. And as I do that, and I keep my elbows locked, my shoulder blades are going to go to the center of my spine. And I'm still keeping my shoulders away from my ears. And then I push through, I push all the way through. So the shoulder blades go away. Once again, drop the chest, keep the arm straight, and then push through. The heart progression is here. Drop the chest, press away. Shoulder blades go all the way out. Drop the chest, shoulder blades go all the way toward the center of the spine. Abs tight, butt tight, and press away. That is our scapular push-ups. Next one is a toe raise, ankle mobility. A mat can be used, PVC pipe can be used. All we're doing is elevating the balls of our feet, feet about hip width, Keep the trunk upright, and I'm gonna bend. My knees are gonna go forward. And when I do that, my heels are staying down, and I feel a good stretch in the Achilles. The Achilles tendon, the soleus. Legs come forward, knees come forward, body stays upright, and come back. It's pretty simple. Big thing is just not to lean forward. Keep yourself upright and let the knees go forward. Make sure the weight is relatively on the outside of the feet. You don't want the knees to buckle in or the arches of the feet to collapse. Keep them more towards the outside and come up. Down and come up. Toe raised, ankle mobility. Alternating single leg Romanian deadlifts. So you guys know this. You guys have seen this before. I'm going to change from the side view. So I'm going to balance on my left leg. My leg's going to bend about maybe 15 degrees. My right leg is going to go back as I reach towards the floor. I don't need to go any further down than this. My spine is about parallel to the ground. I come up, then I switch. I like to think of driving my heel away to get my glute as I go down. Come back up, and you switch sides. Pretty challenging for balance. Focus on one point on the ground. Keep good posture, good alignment from the head to the tailbone as you go down. It's a hip hinge movement. And that is our alternating single leg Romanian deadlifts. Lateral jumps. Okay. Lateral jumps, you can start easy. Feet about shoulder width apart. Arms back, hips back, and I'm going to jump side to side. I land, my butt goes back, breathe in, arms come up, arms back. As I jump, my hips come forward, my arms come forward, and I land, knees are apart. Make sure the butt goes back to absorb. We don't want to land like this. We want to land with our butt back. That's lateral jumps, 8 per side. The last two, cross behind lunge with reach. All right. So most of you guys know this. We know the cross behind lunge is a lateral. We go into the sides. And then when you're comfortable with that, a lot of you are going to have to start with a simple variation. As you go back, and you also can reach. Step reverse, and you can also reach. So if I step back with my right foot towards my left side, my arms are going to reach the same direction to my left. If I step back to my right with my left foot, as I go down, my arms are going the other way, okay? And the last one is lateral shuffles. I don't have a lot of room here to stay in camera, but I'll do the best I can. Stay low, and we're going to move sideways. We'll move a little bit further than this when we actually do it, but keep the feet very close together, feet very wide when you pivot. But you don't want to pivot like this where you can roll over. Wide stance, back, and forth. All right, guys. That didn't take a long time. You see how many different exercises we have on the board. Always start with the breathing. Don't skip it. I know who you are, who does. Somebody looking out for it. Breathing, rolling, bretzel, and the rest of the ramp. So that is our new ramp number 5 at Collective Fitness. Hope you guys enjoy it. I'll see you guys later tonight. Take care. Bye-bye.